Hey PJs, welcome back to another review. Today I'm reviewing Rodem Slime Shop. I know I purchase from them way too often, but you guys, I'm seriously so obsessed with this shop. I cannot stop buying from them, and this restock, they just had so many like nature themed slimes that I really wanted to try out. So without even realizing it, I kind of made like a nature theme for this review, but I really hope you guys enjoy it. Besides the slimes, I was also sent this baggie of extras, which included a haichu candy, which you've never tried before. They are so delicious. I was also sent a packet of borax, which was labeled. That's awesome. And their business card, which is also really adorable. Because of the deals they had going on, I got an extra 3 ounce, which is great. And these are the slimes that I purchased. They all come in these screw top lid dome containers with their Slime Shop logo on the top and the slime label on the side. Starting with the 3 ounce extra, this is like a crunch bomb slime, which I've mentioned before. Crunch bombs are definitely one of my favorite textures, if not my favorite. And this is a clear glue based one, which usually would scare me, but this is Rodem Slime Shop. They never do me wrong with clear slimes, and I was correct with this one. It is a coated clear, or at least like semi-coated, and it feels insanely amazing, especially the fact that it's a crunch bomb. Like the crunches are endless, and it's just super fun to play with, and it just looks so cute overall. It was also scented, which is amazing for an extra slime. I couldn't tell you what exactly it scented, but to me it smells like really fresh pear. Moving on to the slimes that I purchased, this first one is Succulent Plants. It is a DIY Snow Fizz slime that comes with a 1 ounce jam base, 3 succulent plant clays, it is scented rosemary and herb, and it comes with a ladybug charm. So one thing to note, if you ever purchase from this shop, a lot of slimes that they create are made with Korean glue, and that can vastly change what the textures feel like. So for example, this slime here has a Snow Fizz base, and I believe it is made with Korean glue. That makes it makes any slime that you use with Korean glue like really hard to stretch when you first start playing with it, so it always feels overactivated and looks like it when like I'm playing with it. But it's one of those ones that just kind of warms up really fast the longer you play with it, so it's really easy to overactivate and underactivate these slimes. It's hard to gauge, but one of my favorite things with Korean glues is the Snow Fizzes, because they're just so airy and crispy. Like they feel like they weigh nothing, and the bubble pops are so great. Like it is just so crispy, and I love playing with them. The downside is that it leaves a lot of residue, like a lot of the snow pieces will fall out, so that is something to definitely keep in mind. Even here when I mix in the clay, the residue still stays, but it's one of those things that I believe you just cannot avoid, and you really can't fix it, so you just kind of have to roll with it. I really loved putting this slime together, especially with the clay pieces. It really did look like a cactus scenery, and smushing the clay was probably one of my favorite things to do. Like, I'm not sure what this clay is made out of, but it felt like I was smashing frosting, like the frosting you can get in those like plastic tubes. I think it's usually like Pillsbury. It felt like that, but like not sticky. It was extremely smooth, and I loved mixing it in with the Snow Fizz base. I also really love the color it turned into. It reminds me of matcha. As much as I don't like drinking matcha, I like the way it smells because it smells like grass. Speaking of grass, the slime itself had a very earthy scent. It, as much as I didn't want to like think about it because it would ruin the scent for me, it smelled earthy, but then I got like undertones of Vicks Vapor Rub. If you guys know what that is, I had to use it all the time as a kid. Like when you get sick, you could rub it on your chest or under your nose, and it would just like help you breathe at night, and that stuff smelled terrible when I had to use it. It smells good when I don't have to use it, but like the nights where it would stick to my shirt and I just felt so horrible, I couldn't breathe and things like that, it was a godsend, but I hated having it on me. You'll also see in a second I did do a little mess up. I forgot to add the 1 ounce base that was supposed to go with this. It's like those silica rock sand things that you can add. You'll know what I'm talking about when you see it. I was supposed to add that and I completely forgot about it until I was almost done filming. So this slime does get a little more time to show because I wanted to show like how it mixed in, and it does slightly change the texture. It just gives it even more bubble pops, which is awesome, and it gives it a little slightly different texture. But overall, I really enjoyed this one. It was smooth, creamy, airy, all the good things. So of course, this gets 5 out of 5 pajamas. Next up is Botanic Garden, which is a DIY clay slime that comes with realistic flower clays. It has a light green clear base that is scented like peach apple, and it comes with different phemos throughout the slime. So back to what I was talking about with the Korean glue based slimes, this is definitely another one. This is how you get that like coated jiggly base, which if you haven't tried before, I know it kind of looks scary, especially since it's like kind of jiggly. A lot of people think of like that old school green slimy goopy slime stuff. I promise it's nothing like it. It is completely coated, and I could have the hottest hands in the world and I don't think this would leave any residue. It is perfect. It is a little runny, so it's definitely more for table play, but other than that, it is incredible and I could recommend it to everyone. Also, look at those clay flowers. I don't know if I like these better or the cactus one from before, but they look so good and they had a very similar texture, so again, it felt like I was smushing frosting. Also really loved pushing it into the slime because it's a clear base and it's like super easy to push in, so it just looked really cool seeing it in the container, like suspended in the slime. It was just super fun, and of course I loved mixing it together. All these colors came together so beautifully and it just looked so good swirled with the clear base. The clay mixed in really easily, and despite what most people might think, I actually really like the color it turned into. You'll see it turned into like a very diluted purple, almost a gray, but there's definitely purple there, which is like really cool to see in slime because a lot of people are like scared to do like grays or like diluted colors or brown or whatever, because in most contexts it does look pretty bad, but I think in this case it looks really good and I just really like the way it turned out. I also love the resulting texture. If you've ever tried like a DIY clay slime that has Korean glue as the base, it almost always turns into like a really jiggly and chubby clay slime. It has really like watery bubble pops. They just sound like juicy and watery and like wet. But I promise it's really fun to play with. Like I said, it's Korean glue, so it's really easy to stretch. When you let it sit for a while, it will feel kind of overactivated. All you have to do is just play with it a little longer, and it'll warm up in no time. It's also really fun to fluff up because it's just so stretchy, and because it's coated, it doesn't stick. It's also incredibly fun to squish between your fingers, so like the last one, this one also gets 5 out of 5 pajamas. Finally, we have Stump, which is a DIY clay slime that also has a Snow Fizz base. It comes with a realistic stump clay, a mini stump charm, some decorative flowers and grass, a 1-ounce jam base, and it is scented like green forest leaf. Normally, I like to show off the bases before I add any add-ins, especially clay, but since this one was duo colored, I didn't want to mess it up. I just wanted it to look super pretty, so I just kind of flattened it. And you guys, oh my goodness, that clay piece has got to be the most realistic one I have ever seen. It looks just like a tree stump. I don't know how it was created, but it is incredible. So what I did to create like this scenery was just add some of that like jam base to the bottom to make the stump stick, and then I added the stump. Then I added the rest of the jam base to like over the side so I could add like the grass and the moss type thing to create like a super cool moss look. And then I just added the flowers around it, and I think it looks incredible. I stared at it for at least a whole minute before I mixed it because it just looks so good. I believe in order to create the detail on the stump, it was painted on. I could definitely be wrong, but it kind of almost felt like a clay cracking piece, just a little more tough than that, so it didn't really crack. And because of that, of course, the clay was a lot more stiff than normal, which resulted in a slower mixing, which I actually prefer because I like to see the textures mixed together along with the colors. And especially with this one, since it's like all earthy themed and everything, I like to see all those earthy colors mixed together. Once mixed, of course, it became a clay fizz texture that the color really reminded me of fresh cut grass, which I thought was very fitting. And what I did want to say, because I kind of had an issue with it and I don't really know what happened, I believe it was that 1 ounce base that I got to add to it. Afterwards, even though I really liked the texture, it had a very silky or slimy texture to it. Even after sitting for a few days, even after playing with it for over half an hour, it just keeps that slimy feeling to it, which I definitely was not a fan of. But besides that, I did really enjoy this one, and the sizzles were probably the best out of this one and the first slime. They just sounded a lot louder. Another thing that I really had a problem with was the scent. So the base was actually scented like the green forest leaf, which smelled like dirt and Mountain Dew, which actually smells really good. That's just such a weird combo, but I promise it smells really good. Like the Mountain Dew makes it fresh and the dirt just is like really earthy. But I believe that 1 ounce base was scented like green apple, which I thought was just really off-putting. I'm not sure why it would be scented something different. And that green apple scent actually kind of took over the slime. I really regret adding it because it smells like green apple now and I don't like it almost at all. Scents are subjective though, but because of that slimy residue, this one gets 4.5 out of 5 pajamas. And with that, that is the end of this review, and I really hope you guys enjoyed. If you have never tried Rodem Slime Shop before and you're looking for some unique textures, I 100% recommend them. They always have great deals and they restock every week with such amazing slimes. If you have tried this shop before, let me know down below, what was your experience? Was it bad? Was it good? Was it okay? I'd love to know. But with that, I am signing off and I will see you guys in the next one.